All right, so my pick for best writer of the year is Christos Gage. Who,
that's a good pick.
Yeah, he's writing the new Angel and Faith comic book, which I've really, really been enjoying. As I said on my recent superhero list that I posted, I feel like this comic is kind of what I wish Buffy Season 8 had been like. And I still feel like it's stronger than the main title of Buffy Season 9. You know, he just has those characters like down pat, I feel like, with the dialogue and everything. The artist on the series also has the characters
Isaacs.
down. Yep, she has the characters down perfectly. Like she's not like in a cage like, oh, it has to look exactly like the actors. They're like them enough, you know what I mean, with kind of owning it, you know, owning her like art style with it. It's not like a Greg Land type stiff art style. But you can tell it's them. You know what I mean? She does a good job with that. But Christos Gage, he's been on my radar for a while. I really liked his Thunderbolts run. It was very dark and cool. I think that was the first time I've ever really noticed him, just because I really, really enjoyed those comics. Very brutal and really cool with a lot of backstabbing characters and stuff in it. But before Angel and Faith, and he's also on this right now, is Avengers Academy, which I've really, really liked. It has kind of like a rotating cast of characters now, it seems like. But it's kind of like just the next generation of Avengers, who the Avengers are kind of keeping an eye on because they have some qualities that could steer them toward like supervillain territory. But they have characters like Tigra and Marvel Man, kind of, or Marvel Boy, raising them.
The Grant Morrison Marvel Boy?
No, it's from the New Warriors, like an older character.
Oh, right, yeah. That dude.
Yeah. Kind of raising these characters who also have really cool designs, I feel like. Like, there are some really cool, like Vale and Hazmat. Like, they're very cool looking. You look at them and they're just, like, really neat. But anyways. Christos Gage, he continues to write Avengers Academy as, I think, the best Avengers book running right now. And it's the one that I think
the best out of the 50 Avengers books that Marvel puts out every month.
They're like 5, whatever. But I think it's the one that people don't follow as much because obviously it doesn't have, you know, like the Captain Americas and Thors and stuff like that. But he has like great character things in them, and they're all new characters that, you know, that are the kids in this, so he can really, you know, play off them and do what he wants with them, which I think makes for the best storytelling. You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of these superhero books, especially with like X-Men, I feel like lately is just kind of like they're just in this box where they can't really do anything to upset the fans. They don't want to kill off like Wolverine like they would do in Ultimate X-Men. You know what I mean? Because it's the Marvel universe and they have to keep that character there for them. With new characters, you can have fresh ideas, you can have fresh takes on characters, you can do what you want with them, you can kill them, you can make them do this and that, make them go evil. And you can't do it as well with like characters that have been around for a long time, like Captain America and Thor. I mean, they're going to be there. You might kill Thor off 1 month, but a couple months later he's going to come back.
But obviously he does do well with characters that need to be a little bit more protected, with like Angel and Faith. He's probably not as free to do whatever he wants.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, obviously, is a really good book.
Yeah, obviously Joss Whedon would not probably approve of him just taking the reins on those characters and doing some crazy shit and making them not be the characters that they are.
A collaborative thing.
Yeah, and obviously with Angel and Faith, you can tell that he is true to the characters. I mean, he does things that would kind of surprise you with the characters, but it's still true to the character. He's kind of like insightful with his characters, I feel like, you know what I mean? He can he's best writer, you know, he just writes them really well. So, yeah, and I think he really paces things really well. In Avengers Academy especially, you can see that. You know, the fight sequences are like really well done as well. And he had to tie this last year into the Fear Itself storyline, and I think he did a really good job with doing that without getting bogged down by like what was going on with the Fear Itself. He kind of like removed itself a little bit and still tying it in, which is a really hard challenge, I think, for a lot of these Avengers books to do, but I think he did it really well. But yeah, Angel and Faith is, you know, the comic that I think kind of put him over the edge for me for best writer this year. Just because I think really solid storytelling, and yeah, the dialogue and the interactions with the characters I think are great. So,
we should have mentioned up top, this is going to be a really long-ass show. But this is our first season kind of year-ender, so indulge us.
Yes, please.
We're telling you about all kinds of great books. You guys better writing this down. Yes, that's a really good pick. Christos Gage. I've only read Angel and Faith. I do like Angel and Faith. I do think both he and Rebecca Isaacs have a real kind of assured confidence in the way that they handle the characters on that book that I think took the artist Georges Genti of Buffy a little while to find. And Buffy Season 8 had multiple writers. So I do think there is a kind of solidity to Angel and Faith right out of the gate that is appealing. It's a good book. It's set in London. Cool monsters, cool story. So I do like that one. I haven't read the Marvel stuff yet. I need to check that out, and I will do that. And I believe Scott Alley, the editor of Angel and Faith, said that Christos Gage came to his attention not so much from his Marvel work, but from a horror graphic novel that he did. I think I'm right about this, but the name of it is escaping me right now. So you should check that out for sure.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, my choice for writer is not going to be that exciting after what I've already talked about, but I think Jonathan Hickman, 2011, this was his year, man. Especially looking at mainstream comics, which are kind of the comics I was looking at this year. So, of course, I talked at length already about his work on FF and Fantastic Four, but he has also been the primary architect on Marvel's, what I consider very successful relaunch of their Ultimate line of books. So Hickman writes Ultimates, the Ultimates, which is kind of the ultimate version of the Avengers. He also wrote an Ultimate Hawkeye miniseries, which ended up being a very interesting miniseries, I thought. We reviewed the first issue, or maybe 2 issues, on the show, and we liked it. But I think by the end of that series, it kind of surprised you by turning into something it didn't seem as though it was going to be at the beginning, which is sort of a trademark of Hickman's writing. He zigs when you expect him to zag, and you realize, oh, instead of reading a paramilitary story about a fairly realistic ground-level hero named Hawkeye, I'm actually reading the origin story of the ultimate version of some classic Marvel characters. Pretty cool. So the Ultimates, Hawkeye. He also did a miniseries that we reviewed the first issue of for Image Comics called The Red Wing. I did only read the first issue of that. I liked it, but I think I do need to go get caught up with the rest of those because, between FF and the Ultimates work, he's just really clearly established himself as just a really solid creator. And like in FF, I do think a trademark of his writing is just finding new things to do with these characters. He's not really a writer who's going to do stories in the style of other creators. He's going to kind of take things that he finds in these books and these characters and build something completely new. And he usually has a pretty wide view to storytelling. Like Ultimates especially is not so much just about the Avengers, but it really is about the Ultimate Universe as a whole. So Nick Fury is juggling all of these political situations across the globe. And just a lot of great ideas he's come up with, like the Fall of Asgard was terrific. I thought this idea of the people led by an evil Reed Richards, this is all happening in Ultimates, is just a great idea, but more than just throwing out these crazy big concepts, he takes the time to develop them and build on them. And he's just a terrific writer. So he's probably the writer, just looking at writing, whose work I have enjoyed most consistently this year. And issue by issue, honestly, his talent, in my estimation, just continues to rise. So Jonathan Hickman, once again, we've done a show dedicated to him already, and he I felt like 2011 especially, this was his year with the Ultimate relaunch, with the relaunch of Fantastic Four as FF, creator-owned stuff for Image. Like, this was the year he really kind of came to the forefront. So
yeah, good choice
for sure.